Take back control. Stop letting algorithms decide your news. Get uncensored history and real knowledge to strengthen your mind, body, and spirit. Watch ad-free content now at iNeverKnewTV.com premium. All right, I want to jump back into this another time. All right. So, I have about three more. All right. I'm paraphrasing now when I say this, right? I once heard you say this country was built on a two-tier system, white supremacy and slavery. We spoke about it earlier. For what I understand, you believe the rise of white supremacist groups and acts of violence will reach its climax in America around 2042, right? First question I have is, I need you to clarify something. I see conflicting reports that say white supremacist groups are on the rise and extremely dangerous, while other reports are saying white supremacist groups are declining and pose no threat. Based on your research and experience, what is the truth?
Truth is, racism has always been here. Racism itself is not so much on the rise as people make it out to be. It's rising, but it's not rising by leaps and bounds. It's always been here. People are thinking, why are they acting like this? No, they've always been here. You know, you're seeing more of it. People have cell phone cameras, people, blah, blah, blah. So what we're seeing more on the rise of are people who were already here, but not coming out. Now we're seeing them come out and expose themselves. All right, we're seeing a lot more of that. They're taking off the map. So anyway, we're talking, and he told me the races could not coexist in this country until they learn they cannot blend. So until that point, they cannot coexist. So, I wasn't there to beat him up. I was there to learn from him, to learn where does this craziness come from. And then he began telling me about 2042. Now, he told me a lot of lies, but what he told me about 2042, he was right. Because I've been following it ever since 1982, all right? When this country, as I said before, has been built on a two-tier society, white supremacy at the top and slavery at the bottom, right? And as we progress through the years, we may have progressed like this, but never like this, all right? When I'll be 66 week after next.
Yeah.
And when I was a child, the black population in this country was 12%. Native Americans, 1%. Hispanic, Latino Americans, almost 2%. Asian Pacifica Americans, almost 3%. Whites were like 86, 87%, all right? The census is taken, and you can fact check it, go to uscensus.gov. It's taken every 10 years, every decade, all right? Today, black people remain around 12%. We're 12.9, so they say 13. So we have not grown. Native Americans remain at 1%. Asian Americans have grown almost double. They're almost at 6%. Latino Hispanics have more than quadrupled, 17 point something percent. So if you take just black people, 12%, and Latino Americans, 17, that right there is 29% non-white. That's almost a third, right? Today, white people only make up almost 60% of the population. This is happening, all right? It is predicted in the year 2042, for the first time in our history, this country will be 50-50. Globally, whites are a minority. In this country, they're a majority, all right? The term white flight. Doesn't exist because the color of our landscape has changed so much. Anywhere they go, there's already somebody there that doesn't look like them, right? So they're freaking out about that, and there's a large percentage of white people in this country that don't care about that demographic shift. They shouldn't care, and they don't care. They say, hey, that's evolution. I don't have a problem with that. No big deal. But there's a slice of our population that does care, and those are the ones that I deal with. And they're the ones that tell me they don't want their grandkids to be brown, all right? And they repeat exactly what Matt Cole told me back in 1982, the browning of America and all that kind of crazy stuff.
Will they inflict violence on a white person who's in an interracial
Yes,
relationship?
they will hate that white person more than the black person.
Or will they inflict violence? Will they?
Yeah,
They will?
absolutely, absolutely.
'Cause you know what I noticed? Because we're on the East Coast, we're kind of blocked off from a lot of the physical actions of racism. We may experience, like, denial of a job or a slur, but when you're in these areas, you don't actually see that physical display of racism like you would in other areas.
I don't know so much about that.
Disagree?
Yeah, it can happen anywhere. Look at Charlottesville. That's the East Coast. Look at Mobile, Alabama, where they hung Michael McDonald.
Should I say metropolitan cities then?
Yeah, maybe metropolitan cities. Okay.
East Coast.
But yeah, but you know what? You saw an act of racial violence in the most powerful metropolitan city in the world, Washington, D.C., January 6, 2020, the insurrection. That was a lot of racial violence. You saw somebody walking through the Capitol Rotunda carrying the Confederate battle flag. You saw somebody else in the Capitol Rotunda wearing a Camp Auschwitz t-shirt. You don't have to ask them what they want. That's what they want to go back to. That's the Make America Great Again. Okay, so there was a lot of violence that day. How many people did you see on January 6th breaking through windows and kicking down doors and beating up police officers that looked like me or you? D.C. is 2/3 black. How come there weren't more black people there?